Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot. And really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Wednesday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. Thank you so much for tuning in. At Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia, rate, review, subscribe, whatever platform you listen on, but especially Apple Podcasts. We appreciate all of you who have done so thus far. Look, this is all you got to do. Let me give you an example here. We haven't done this in a while, but you know what? I love this guy right here. 5 stars.
Thanks, man.
No.
Oh, you weren't talking. Oh.
No. Sorry.
Damn.
Sorry about talking about a review here. And I haven't been doing these lately, but we're going to have to start again. We are going to have to start again because there's some people catching us. And we appreciate you guys doing this, taking the time. Hey, we give you the show for free, by the way. The show is free. So, I mean, all you got to do is go there. Come on. All right.
You make me pay.
That's why it's free for everybody else. Thank you, Joe. Subsidizing the crowd. Slackass 0205 5 stars says feedback. What a headline. I've now been listening to Sean and Joe for over a year. The two of them are great. During the pandemic, there was no sports. Sean and Joe were still posting episodes, even having some nice movie and music brackets. I hope the best for them both. Now I have to get back to my top fan status. Thanks, Daryl. Daryl, guess what? Hit me up on email or DM me or whatever. I'm going to get you some Cuse Militia swag, and we appreciate you, Daryl, very much. Daryl always in on the fan feedback, and he loves it. So we love him, therefore. So, all right, look, glitch in the system. Last episode, sorry about that. Going to try to avoid it this time. Having James on today. We're going to talk Syracuse basketball. It's going to be a blast. And sorry about the technical difficulties. And I think I know what's causing it, and I think I'm going to have to upgrade my internet or something or a computer, one or the other, or both. So
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we can apologize, but really, it's nothing that we can really do about it. It just kind of happens. So
it just happens, and I think it happens when the computer thinks, which makes me think either the computers needs to be cleaned up, it's bogging itself down, or it's just if the internet was faster, it would work better. But anyway, I know there's people who endured the crackling from the second half of the last episode. We appreciate you doing that. I know it had to be annoying as hell. Also, Thai Thoughts is out. The latest episode of that, Season 1, Episode 7, is out. And might I say, probably one of his best episodes, by the way.
I enjoyed that one.
I thought it was very good.
I mean, I enjoy them all. But
I enjoy them all, too. But I'm
good.
just saying that one was especially good, I thought. So, and he was you could tell.
The Wake Forest game.
Maybe he should listen to, yes, true. But he tries to stay out of the analysis and do what he does, his thing, which he's good at.
Oh yeah.
And he was listening to some music before the show. So, maybe it hyped him up. Maybe he needs to always do that. Also, I'm going to do this again. Happy Veterans Day again, because today is Wednesday. It's Veterans Day. We didn't know if we were going to get back today, but we did. So, thank you, veterans. Again, we appreciate you, obviously, and all that. And, everybody listening overseas, especially, really think that's really cool. And obviously all of you and Joe and my brother and my cousin and everybody else who has served this country
my
for
dad,
us.
my mom.
Yeah, I never served, so I have the utmost respect for people who have. And I think y'all deserve your due. Maybe should be more than one day a year, in fact. So, all right.
Oh.
We're going to have James on, like I said. We are going to get into the Dior Johnson. We'll talk maybe some of the recruiting stuff, some Benny Williams news today. We'll go through the buy-seller holds. We are going to do all of that. But first, as always, before we get into all that and we talk to James, you got to hear from the title sponsor for the Cuse Militia, for Thai Thoughts, and for Armchair Media, and that is Bet Online. Look, chances are not looking good for getting to at least a football game in the Dome. I think the governor of New York has limited private parties in your own house to 10. I do not foresee anybody being able to get into the Dome anytime soon. So, you want to have some fun? Go over to Bet Online, all right? Football's in full effect over there, and Bet Online's going the extra mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props. Bet Online gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head to Bet Online today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. All right, let's bring on James. All right, joining us now, as promised, Syracuse basketball beat writer for Noon's Magician, proudly from the 315, our boy, James Szuba, at James Szuba on Twitter. James, it's been too long. It's been too long, buddy. Welcome back.
Man, been too long indeed. Great to be back on the only Syracuse sports podcast giving the fans a voice. Great to be back on.
Oh, thank you, James. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Let's get your thoughts first on the football season. What do you think? Pretty good, right?
Well, hold on here. Last podcast you guys did, you said if you're still paying attention, you're a diehard.
Yes.
And I got news for you. I'm not a diehard. So I've been checked out for like at least 3 weeks. But no, I mean, I've been following along a little bit. You know, I know they've been giving Jacoby and some run under center. So, you know, I mean, that's great. Obviously, you know, not the results that you want on the win column, but, you know, tough season. And, you know, we turn the page of the basketball season. That's how it goes.
That's right. It's a rebuilding year. You know, so to speak.
It's been a rebuilding year every year.
I know. It feels like decades. It feels like since McNabb, let's be honest. That's what it feels like to me.
2018. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Do you remember in 2018 and everybody was joking that Syracuse is a football school now and all? Man,
yes.
That looks so bad. That looks so bad.
Oh, yeah. Dude. And I think everything that's been going on this year has made everything that's happened prior just seem so much longer. Like 2018 wasn't that long ago, and it seems like it's been 5 years since I went down to that bowl game and we won 10 games. So
I know. It's crazy.
God, it's been a long year, man. It really has.
It has. Well, look, we got some basketball news to talk about. First, the big news of we'll work to today. So yesterday it broke that Dior and Syracuse University they had a mutual separation, so to speak. And many of us saw this coming, and there was always this drama around Dior constantly. And he's a talented dude, no doubt. But I had a little birdie last night send me an article, a James Szuba article, where the last line from 2019, right? Where the last line of this thing, where Dior basically says, "Look, if I can jump right into the NBA after," I'm paraphrasing here. I got it right here. He says, if that chance is given, talking about the NBA doing away with the rule there,
the one and
done rule. If that chance is given, Johnson began straight out of high school. I'm out of here. Okay, so you wrote those words or quoted those words in 2019, and I mean the writing's been on the wall, but the freak out from the Syracuse fans is like mind blown.
Yeah.
So talented kid, you know, he's taking the Darius Baisley route. It seems like surprise.
Surprised? No, that's not the word. Is this the part where I have to pretend to care about whatever Dior Johnson's doing? Is this that part?
No, but a lot of people really, again, those fans, they get in they just look forward to it so much, and then something like this happens, they think that something like is happening with the program or the program's in flux or the recruiting's down, but it's like, we kind of knew. I mean, he's been in 3 high schools in 6 months, and
like 2 months.
He was going to go straight to the NBA, right? So this is obviously his decisions sway pretty fast. It never really. We talked about it, and Sean always talks about, I don't really care about talking about the recruit until they get here.
Yes.
And that should probably be everybody's outlook. But when you get a guy that's ranked that high, you want him to come.
And when you get a guy, here's another rule. When you get a guy ranked that high, you should probably not count on him even stepping foot inside the dome. Okay? And it's not like he's going to go to Duke. All right? He's not probably even going to play college basketball. So, whatever. Right? And he was always trolling Syracuse fans in some kind of way. He was always trolling Syracuse fans, and they take the bait every time, which is
it's not that hard of a thing to do, but he did it pretty well.
Yeah. Is it like that Geico commercial where he's like, I got $1?
Yes. Hold on. James, did you send me that?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
I texted him that last night. That's funny you bring that
He sent me that GIF last night. That's right. Or GIF, whatever. Yeah, that's funny. But exactly.
And the Darius Baisley route worked for him, right?
It did.
I was kind of like a poo-pooer on it and didn't know how it was going to work. And I think he might have just kind of paved the way for that going on, because by the time when the coronavirus thing kind of slowed down and NBA started back up, he was getting good burn with OKC.
No doubt.
So,
yeah, it worked out for him. I mean, I'm not going to spin this into a positive. Obviously, it stinks if you're Syracuse. You want a highly rated kid like that to come in and honor his commitment. But at least now you know. And you know that he says he's going to include Syracuse amongst his top schools going forward. I wouldn't count on that. But, at least he's not coming. Okay, we can take a look and prioritize other guys and try to get some other guys in here. And at least in the Baisley situation, he didn't do it at the 11th hour. Now you still have some time for the 2022 class.
Talking about a year, right?
Yeah, Baisley, by the time that he decided to go the route that he did, there's not really much you could do with, 3 or 4 months left until the season or whatever it was. At least this, and now you can prioritize other guys.
Exactly. So, on that note, we did have Benny Williams sign his national letter of intent today. So, on the heels of that, great news. Now he's here. Now he signed the letter. Look, I'm not going to get excited again until this kid steps on the floor. But you know what? Whatever. You take the good when you can, and whatever. So he's a 5-star too, right?
He's the next Carmelo, baby. Top 30 recruit.
Okay. Hey, look, didn't Dior take part though, ironically, in getting him here? Or is that?
Dior had some other guys in mind.
Did he?
Like the Zion Cruz and Chance Westry in the 2022 class. I think they had a relationship. They talked a little bit, Benny Williams, but I don't know that he was instrumental in landing him at Cuse. I think
Benny Williams is 2021, right?
Yeah, he's next year.
Yep. That's which is why his letter is signed already. But still, guys, we got a year. So anyway, and what do you know about Roddy Gale? You've been watching him. This kid's down to, I think he's whittled it down to 6. I think it's Pittsburgh, Connecticut, Syracuse, Georgetown, Ohio State, and Marquette.
He's quote unquote a local kid, even though he is pretty much in Buffalo. Out in Niagara Falls. There, he was on actually. I don't know if you guys saw it, the Falls documentary with Paul Harris. He was on that.
Yep.
And he's got it down, to the 6 you mentioned, and it sounds like Ohio State's going to be the favorite. So I wouldn't be expecting him to pick Syracuse come Friday.
Right, exactly. Did you hear that, everybody? You heard that straight from James's mouth. He's going to write something about it today.
So when he commits to Syracuse, make sure you at me on Twitter and say, James, you were wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Looking forward to those.
Good. Sometimes it's okay to be wrong. That's what I try to do that all the time. Be wrong, just when I'm negative.
Have they made any rules as far as coronavirus and like another year of eligibility for people like players as far as seniors and stuff?
Everybody playing this year in the 2020-21 college basketball season will have an extra year of eligibility if they opt. So, in theory, Kadari Richmond coming in a freshman, he could have another year if he wanted to. He could be at Syracuse for 5 more years. And, if Marek Dolezaj or Brahma Sidibe, if they want to come back next year, they can do that as well.
Yeah, and you don't have to. Nice. You're not limited to any number of games played or anything like that. There's no stipulations. In fact, they make scholarship exceptions, don't they?
Yeah. So next year, like using Syracuse as an example, if Marek and Brahma want to come back, Syracuse could be at 15 scholarships and be okay. So they could have 15 scholarship players next year. However, the following season, they'll have to go back down to the normal number of scholarships. So, theoretically next year, 2020, 2021, they can go above. And then 2021, 2022, they'll be back down to the 13 scholarship allotment.
Okay. So, well, that gets confusing.
Well, maybe that's what Dior was doing.
He's just trying to help the scholarship allotment.
Yeah, just making room.
We appreciate it. The scholarship thing always gets dicey when you're packing them in, but with Syracuse, we're not used to having using up our scholarships, right? So this is really the first full year, isn't it? What
do we do with all these scholarships now?
Yeah, what do we do with them exactly? How long did that take to cycle through? How ridiculous. So anyway, there you have it. Now, Ken Pom, your boy Ken Pom, had Syracuse preseason ranked in 29th. How much water do you think that holds? Now, you look at this team, and we're going to obviously talk about it. We're going to do some buy-seller holds. And you look at this team, and you're like, man, it looks so promising. And you talk about coach playing 8 players. And, you're like, when I was looking at it before I came on, I'm like, man, I feel like it's going to be tough to play 8 players. So, your coach, who's your 8?
Yeah, first with the Ken Pom thing, I mean, those numbers are baked in from previous seasons, so I don't know how far it looks back, because obviously last year Syracuse was, I believe, the second worst team defensively in the Ken Pom era under Jim Boeheim. So I think probably looking back to 2019 and 2018 a little bit in those numbers, but as far as the 8 goes, I mean, I think we all know who the starters are going to be, or at least we know who the top 6 are going to be. You have Joe Girard and Buddy Boeheim back. Those guys are shoo-ins for starters at guard. I think we could plug Alan Griffin in at the 3, and then Marek Dolezaj at the 4, Barama Sidibe at the 5, and then off the bench, if he's not starting, he'll certainly be first off the bench in Quincy Guerrier.
So,
and then you can debate who the next guy or 2 is in the rotation, but we've heard good things from Kadari Richmond. I don't know if we're buying into the hype there or what, but he would theoretically be the next guard in the lineup, the only guard left in the lineup. And then, probably a backup center. So either Jesse Edwards or Frank Anselm.
Yeah, I had Jesse Edwards on there. And, my heart says Robert Braswell, but I feel like it's going to have to be Jesse. Was he 7 foot, 6'11"? And yeah. So this is my only real murky area with the starters. Is you like you said, Joe, Buddy, Allen, and you gotta figure Mark. So to me, I feel like it's kind of between depending on where you want to put Mark, between Barama and Quincy. I just don't know. I could see a situation where Mark starts down low and you've got Quincy in there.
You could. I mean, if you want to put Marek at the 5, which he has played, now they haven't had the center depth in previous years as what Syracuse has this year. But if you want to put Marek at the 5, you could get some really good shooting lineups in there. If you want to slide Braswell over to the 4, I don't know. God love him. I don't know how much he's going to play this year, Braswell, because he does kind of seem like the odd man out in the forward rotation. But if you think Joe, Buddy, Allen, is a top 3,
yes,
and then Marek at the 5, you could throw Braswell in there at the 4. That's a really good shooting lineup right there. I don't know how much we'll see that lineup, but there's a lot of shooting on the team this year.
I know, it's great. And I am just to touch on what you were talking about with Kadari Richmond, heard a lot of good things. He looks great. I think he's a talented kid, but we all know what it looks like when you come right from high school and you get put in the college game situation, and you don't see too many people transition very quickly into that. And so it's going to be a learning curve, in my opinion. He could be look what Joe Girard did, leaps and bounds last year, really, and what Buddy did the year before that, too. He was excellent. So look for Kadari Richmond to kind of take those kind of steps, I think, by the end of the year. Yeah. I think he's going to be doing something significant for Syracuse, Joe. What do you think?
See, for me, Sean, I thought when you look at the starting lineup, I kind of look at it, unless you're playing against a smaller lineup, I was kind of seeing Sidibe and Mark definitely starting, and the starting job, or the one that we're trying to figure out, it would be between Griffin and Gary Ade. That's kind of where I was at.
I can see that too.
The way that Sidibe finished off the year,
I know.
If that's the Sidibe that we're going to see, then he's starting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then again, whether it's a Jesse Edwards or a Frank Anselm or a John Boljak, or they move Mark over to center, at least we know we have that depth, because we know that, like we said last year, we know Mark and Sidibe are going to foul some people. So it's good that we do have that kind of depth. And going to Kadari Richmond, and we talked about this too, I hope the hype is real, because again, like what you said, James, it's the only other guard. So if Alan Griffin can't bring the ball up and Kadari Richmond can't bring the ball up, then we might be looking at a situation where, some teams are going to give us issues and we might have to go back to a couple years ago where Mark was bringing the ball up.
Yeah.
So
point guard Braswell, baby, that's Braswell's opening right there.
But I hope that Kadari Richmond, I hope it's real, because I'd like to be able to, get those guys some burn and have him come in. And plus, he's a really tall guard. To put him up there in the top of that 2-3 zone, I think that'll really help them defensively.
Yeah, you definitely need him there, because there's not much depth at the guard. And Boeheim has said that he's a point guard. They kind of realized in practice that he has more point guard skills than they originally thought. So they're going to need him. But as you said, Sean, we'll see what happens when the lights come on. I mean, you really never know how a freshman's going to come in. He could be Tyler Ennis. He could be, kind of unheralded and come in and take the world by storm, or he could be a Caleb Joseph where he's just not quite ready. So you never really know with freshmen.
Yeah, I know exactly. And it'll be fun to watch that. But to piggyback on that, with some of the guys like Buddy and Joe, I'm expecting big things from them too, especially Buddy, going to be his sophomore year. And to think, you've got 2 more years of Buddy after this. Think about the possibility of that. I mean,
a lot of threes, baby.
Yeah, a lot of threes. Well,
you'd be passing Jerry.
Yeah. Just to Joe's point about Barama, was his problem always was consistency. So he was always kind of he was streaky. Like, we'd be like, yes, it's clicking. And they'd be like, oh, okay, maybe not. And and then he'd get 4 fouls in the first 8 minutes of the game, and he'd be sitting until 3/4 of the way through the second half. And you're like, it's the Barama we know. And so, it's just frustrating, because the talent's there, and, maybe a little small on the frame, but we'll just have to see. He's going to have to be consistent, though, to win me over.
Then he has those monster games against North Carolina at the end of the year.
Oh, my gosh. What would Syracuse have done?
Give me that every game. Every game.
I know. So much easier to say.
Arms straight up. Don't jump.
I know.
Against arguably the best bigs in the conference, in Garrison Brooks and Armando Bacot. So that's a tough one to pin down, but yeah.
It is. All right. You guys want to do some buy, sell, or hold, or what?
Let's do it.
Nah.
Let's do it. Joe, look. Just think about it. Have you been through them? Have you even looked? Have you even checked it out yet, Joe? Of course you haven't. You got to be working Facebook for me, because we're going to have to bounce back and forth between Twitter and Facebook.
That's where I look.
Once again, I had to come up with the questions to help you all out.
That's a lie.
This is well, Joe came up with one. This is becoming a trend. You came up with one this year.
You put out 2.
Did I? Okay. Well, whatever. I put out 3 the last time. They were all mine. All right. Look, before we get going here with James, look, he's got better things to do than sit here and listen to us argue, Joe. Like, go to Bet Online and get his.
I really don't.
Thank you, James.
He's got to go to Bet Online and get his ACC picks for the week in. This guy, he's going to go there because he can't get to a game this year, so he's going to go there. He's going to Bet Online. They're going to Extra Mile to make sure you can get in on everything imaginable this season, from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coach and props. Bet Online gives you more options to wager than any other place online. Head over to Bet Online today. Use the promo code ARMCHAIR to take advantage of all of the great sign-up bonuses. Bet Online, your online sportsbook experts. Thank you, Bet Online. You know what else James is doing?
Manscaping.
He's going to trim it up. He's going to trim it up, baby. Look, Manscaped's forever changing the grooming game with their new Weed Whacker. This is the nose and ear hair trimmer that provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. The premium Manscaped Weed Whacker uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary blade dual blade system. 9,000 RPMs, James, and you stick it in your nose. Okay, can you believe it?
Sounds painful. It just sounds painful.
I know.
Maybe because they name it like lawn equipment.
That's true. But it's supposed to be manly. All right.
It's like I'm blowing up my nose with a weed whacker.
Yes, that's it. And your ears. Look, James, you're getting up there now. What are you, 31?
20. How old am I? 28. 28.
Are you 28? You're lying. Are you? You are? You're 28? You're a young buck. He doesn't have hair in his ears yet like Joe. But what Joe does is he uses the weed whacker. You get those big, long, snarly hairs out of his ears. It's intelligently contoured design, enhances the trimming experience, and it's waterproof, which makes it for easy operation and cleaning. It's the only nose hair trimmer on the market with a powerful rechargeable lithium-ion battery. It lasts up to 90 minutes on one use. And if you didn't know this, James, you know it now. 79% of partners polled admit that long nose hair is a major turnoff, okay? Just letting you know. All right, you need to
get one for Boeheim yet?
You either find one of these lovely ladies that's in the 21%, or you get the weed whacker. All right, head over to manscaped.com today. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code armchair at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the promo code armchair. What are you waiting for? Thank you. Manscaped.com.
Real quick, I got a story. I took your advice a couple weeks back. I was driving home from the Finger Lakes drive-in on Halloween night. Was a little late, getting a little tired, coming back through Auburn. So what did I do? I plucked one of my nose hairs, and the eyes started watering.
Make your eyes water?
Good, I picked that up from the pod, man.
Really that's Joe. Joe picks his nose hairs. Yeah, Joe picks his nose hairs during the show. He does this so much that
happened one time.
Actually, his eyes don't even water. It's amazing.
But busy schedule, man. You got to squeeze it in where you can.
But Heather, if you're listening, come on, get the dude the weed whacker for Christmas, for crying out loud. Plus,
I need a weed whacker for the house.
Get one of those too. Get one of those too. All right, look. I just want to say thank you to everybody who did play along with us here on Joe. You're doing Facebook, right?
Yeah.
Yes, the answer is yes. That. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's see.
Doesn't listen.
I should have been more prepared. By the way, Joe, real quick. Hold on. This is so
real quick as you stutter.
This is so unprofessional. I'm trying to kill time here.
Tick, tick, tick.
At Baptized by Fire 7 on at Baptized by Fire 7 on Twitter says, is Joe going to the Carolina game in Chapel Hill on January 2nd, 2021? He's thinking. Thought about it. He's thinking. Okay, he hasn't thought about it.
Are they letting fans?
I haven't thought about it. They got at least football. They have 7% outdoors. Okay. I haven't really heard anything yet as far as indoors. So
Duke's not.
No, I know Duke's not. Yeah, Duke didn't for football either.
No.
Duke didn't for football either. But NC State and North Carolina, Wake Forest, they've been doing the 7% outside. But I'll tell you what, the only people that are getting those tickets, and I know by the people I've talked to at work, are season ticket holders. Season ticket holders who have already paid, and some season ticket holders are not even really getting an opportunity. So they're kind of just rolling them through, but it comes down to like your membership in the club and how many points you got and all that stuff. I don't really know how that works, but
yeah, that sucks. Well,
so the chance of a Syracuse fan getting in, unless you're going to buy it, like what James said, with big money off the internet.
Yeah, unless you go to South Carolina, like David went to South Carolina and got to the Clemson game, which is fantastic. But they don't give any Fs in South Carolina, bro. South Carolina gives 0 Fs. They're out of them. They're out of them. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Buy, sell, or hold. I'm going to go through the fans quickly, and then I'll give it to you, James. The Orange will flirt with the top 25, but never actually get ranked. At Oil Q says sell will be in the top 10 if Sidibe plays like he did at the end of last season. To Joe's point, hold, leaning sell won't be. You can't do that. Okay, it's one or the other. So So if you're iffy, we're going to go with Sell. This is at rfiles90. Won't be good enough to flirt with the top 25. Don't know how they make that jump with identity remaining the same. Still no interior muscle on offense or defense. Scoring will rely streaky three-point shooting. Good point, because that's one thing we can't rely on. You're going to have to get inside. I mean, these days of the three-point stuff constantly and relying on that all the time, first of all, it's old and tired to me. When it's good, it's good. But when it's off, it's awful to watch. It's terrible.
Come on, that's the new Steph. That's the new Steph ball, bro.
That's a great point. I like that. Let's see. Got one here with no at Tony Staffieri. Bye. At Cuse Waterboy Sell. Cuse remains constant in the top 25 in the 16 to 24 range. Super Hard Sell will be 13th by December 28th. Let's say at Justin Hodges 22. At SU Vidala, I think SU will be one of the last 25 teams playing after COVID-19 rips through the nation. So Sell. Okay, well that was nice of him.
Yeah, we didn't get too much on Facebook.
Okay, that doesn't surprise me.
We got a bunch of. Yeah, I know, right? Got a bunch of Sells. Only top fan Daryl. Sell will crack top 20 this season.
Top fan Daryl.
Yep. Geo Heater. I'm going to hold. If we can get production out of Sidibe and the big men down low, we can be dangerous. This could be anywhere from a bubble team to a top 10 team. Yet another year where we don't really know what to expect. We've never seen Alan Griffin or the freshman play in orange. So he's holding with that. And not top fan, Joe Pasick. He must have fell off because I know he's been busy. Sell. He said, Sell. We're 29 in Ken Palm to start the season. If we don't see the top 25 at some point, there's a real problem here.
Okay. James, to you, buddy.
I'm going to buy. And I think a lot of it comes down to the schedule, which we really don't know at this point. We know a very little bit about the non-conference schedule. But, I think a lot of it hinges on, can Syracuse go into Rutgers and get a win? Because Rutgers is ranked 24th to start the season. So if they win that, presumably, they beat Bryant, they're going to have some votes. And then they're going to have to win their games from there. But anyway, I'm going to go by. I think, maybe they could be on the outer cusp, maybe in the receiving votes category. But ultimately, I don't think Syracuse will crap the
They might crap it, James. But
they might take a crap on the top 25, but they're not going to crack the top 25 this season.
All right, Joe.
Yeah. So did you buy that, James?
I bought it. Yeah, I bought it.
He bought it as in, so just to read the question.
I get it.
Okay, all right. I don't want you to get confused now. I know how easy that happens.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to buy too. And I'm just going to buy basically because if our defense doesn't get better, I don't really know where we're going to fare as far as against the ACC. We don't have these exhibition games like against Marathon Oil and these other random teams to try to get ready. Plus, some of the other smaller non-conference games. I saw they scheduled Buffalo, right? They come out
Buffalo
yesterday or today. Buffalo's they're not a bad team. So we're going to have to come out and be ready game one. And I just think that there's just a lot to be shown, and I just don't know how much better that defense is going to be able to crack that top 25.
All right, next one.
What about you?
All right.
Get off that easy.
So, look, I think
stumped
That's
again.
interesting.
I think I'm going to Sell. I think they get in at some point. I do. Now it's probably maybe going to be early, but even if they beat Rutgers, I still don't think they get in after that. I still think they got to deuce. What is it? Is the Bryant game? That's November 27th, right? That's
27th.
Okay, so you got Bryant, Rutgers. They go 3-0. They get ranked. I think. Well, they might have to go 4-0.
It depends on what all the other teams ahead of them do too. So
yeah, well, exactly. So I say that they might break it early. So I'm going to sell on that. Now, to Joe's point, though, I do agree, man. This defense got to improve, but I think this squad's pretty talented. I think these guys are getting better. I think this squad will be more talented all around this year than they were last year, probably mid to late season. Now, we got to make up for Elijah Hughes, but which is not going to be, which is not
big
gonna,
hole,
huh?
but bigger growth. Big hole, but bigger growth from other people. I mean, like, again, if Sidibe and them come back, and again, that's where I want to see. It's almost like at some point, I remember a couple years ago when we were dealing with all these scholarship issues, and it was like our defense was amazing, but we couldn't score.
Yeah.
And then it just flip-flopped.
It was only like 2 years ago.
Now we can score, but now we can't play defense. And
it was right before Buddy came in, wasn't it?
Pick your poison.
Yeah, pick your poison.
2017-18 was a really good defensive unit. That was the Frank Tyus and O'Shea year.
Yeah.
And those were the only three guys that could score.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So it's the hero ball stuff, I think, on offense that kills Syracuse. So, I'm not real worried about the scoring, but I am worried about the 3-ball game constantly being like their number one go-to all the time. And I think they're going to have to penetrate. And I don't know, how is Alan Griffin, though, trying to, penetrate and drive and things like that? He's not really that guy, is he?
So that's the biggest question on the offensive side of the ball, I think, for Syracuse this year is who can really play make, who can create, because Joe might have that potential, but we know that his shooting and his scoring is very valuable. So is he willing to take a little bit more of a back seat in that capacity to play make and create for others? Can he do that from the point guard spot? Does Kadari Richmond get enough minutes to do that? And then obviously Elijah did a lot of that last year from the forward spot. Can Marek do that? Can he fill in some of that void? Or can Griffin do that? Basically what we saw from him at Illinois, he played more off ball. Ayu Dosunmu did a lot more. He was kind of like in the mold of a Tyus Battle, and he was more of just a catch and shoot guy. So who on this team can create off the bounce and create for others? That's a big question.
We just don't know.
No. And there was a 247 Sports article by Stephen Bailey actually talking about this and how he talked to Alan Griffin and part of him coming to Syracuse because Illinois is stacked. They're like a top 10 or 15 preseason ranked team. He wasn't going to get any more minutes. So the reason he came to Syracuse is obviously for playing time and an opportunity to show that he's more of just a spot-up three-point shooter. So he's been working on all that stuff. And in the article, it talks about, his motor and how he's just doing all the little things, and he's about to win. He's about winning. So the teammates like him, and they say he's going to be a big part of the team this year, which we all speculated. So hopefully he can prove that, and hopefully he can step up and be that guy.
Sure.
And who knows?
It can be done. It's just we haven't seen it yet. We don't know. There's nothing really that we've seen that would prove.
Right.
Yeah, we don't know what kind of improvements. Buddy obviously has to be good, and Joe's obviously has to be good. And where's Brahma at? Where's Mark at? But I think Mark's gonna be an animal this year. Didn't him and Sidibe both put on like 20 pounds?
Yeah, but I put on 20 pounds.
Yeah, but that's different. I put on 20 pounds too. That's different. It just means my shirt's tighter now.
Yeah.
Well,
but also like they weren't playing basketball, and if you're playing basketball, it's hard to put on weight because you're doing so much running. So I would expect those numbers to even come down a little bit more with these guys having practice.
Once they get going, yeah.
Certainly, them putting on good weight, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So
and Quincy with his surgery and his injury from last year too, we don't even really know how much that downplayed how he was playing. So
we do. I think we got a really good. Once it came out, it was like. Once it
made sense.
It made a whole lot of sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, because he seems like a guy that can stretch the floor, shoot the three, and do the little pump fake drive. He did it a little bit during the end of the season. He was getting better with it, but when you're in that much pain and you got that kind of injury to where you need to get like that type of surgery, that was definitely hindering what he could do. So, I'm definitely looking forward to a healthy Quincy Guerriere.
Yeah, and when he was forced to play a lot, he didn't have a choice. Basically, you saw how good he did, and he was saying, it just took a long time to get warmed up. When he's out there cold, it was just painful. So,
has he made a three in Boeheim's lifetime yet? Since Boeheim's comment,
you know what? I don't think so.
Did he make a three since then?
I don't think he. Wait, did he make one last year?
He did, but I don't know if he made one.
Oh, since then.
Boeheim's comment.
I know he banked.
He might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
He
well,
banked, I remember
that's
he banked
interesting.
one. It's like a real
Okay.
bad shot, and he banked one, but I don't know if that was after or
Okay.
before.
I think it
Well,
was
what's the
because
look?
didn't Coach say it was luck or something?
No, those were the free throws at Notre Dame. When he
Okay,
made the 2 clutch free throws down the stretch, he said that was their miracle for the year.
that's right. That's right. That was that the game? That was the game that Gerard gave. What was he give Prentice Hub the ball or something at the end of the game?
Yeah, Gibbs or
Was it
Prentice
Gibbs?
Hub.
One of those two.
I think it might have been Gibbs. Yeah,
Okay. All right. Yeah, that
Great
was
move.
awesome. By the way, that was so good. All right.
that's so like a Devendorf move right there.
I know.
love
That's
that.
why I love it. We haven't had a Devendorf move since Devendorf. You
Love
know, that's why I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, but there would have been some chirping from Devendorf. Joe Girard just did it and
Yeah,
he
ran
just
away. Yeah,
and ghosted him. Ghosted him.
Devendorf would have got right in his face and squared up with him. So, and that's why we love him. All right, let's see. The Orange will be comfortably in the tournament this year. At L Michelle XO, she's buying. At Oil Cuse, buy finally, he says. At Jeff Henley 3, we will get buckets this year. Buy. At Joe Catskill, buy. This team has some studs who have great experience and left the floor on a positive note. That's true. I mean, they won that game last year handily. They were getting ready to make a run. I can say that because we don't know what would have happened, but they were getting ready to win the ACC tournament, and they got it just got the rug yanked out from underneath them. At Roberto B88, last time we said that we know what happened. Nothing is ever comfortable lately, so he's gonna sell. Buy, hold, got a couple holds. At Lomi Cuse fan, buy. At Justin Hodges 22, buy. That's MF by 103 seed. Come on now, baby. Yeah, I don't know about 3 seed, but
3 seed.
Go ahead, Joe. What do you got?
Yeah, it's all over the place on Facebook too. We did a little bit better with this one. Top fan Tim Abbott, why the hell not? Patrick O'Hearn called it 5 seed.
Yeah, 5 seed in the ACC tournament, maybe.
Geo Heater, another hold. Heater, that's against the rules. You held in both of them.
Oh, Geo. First of all, well, it's fine. I did not state the rules.
We'll give him a pass.
He gets 2 holds.
Yeah, and by the way, is Geo
I'll give him that.
Is Geo a top fan? He's not.
No, not yet.
Wow, I'm disappointed, Giovanni. Very much.
But he says, hold, haven't seen enough yet. Come back to this after 5 or so games, and we will have a better picture. Top fan David Radzis. Bye. With COVID and everything, I believe we see a different team this year. Last year cut short. I think they come out just overly motivated and ready to take no prisoners. Top fan Daryl. Bye. The team has depth and a lot of returning players from last year. My brother, hold. We still need to see how the new guys play the zone. Rob Lucio, sell. Joe Pasick, not top fan. Until they show me different, we stay riding the bubble. Tim Kringle, sell. Chris Courtright, buy for sure. And I wanted to get your opinion on this, James. Joe Risnick. They would have made it last year, and the team is significantly better than this year. Channeling my inner NSYNC. It ain't no lie, baby. Bye, bye, bye.
I like that. I like getting creative.
So,
Lance Bass in there. Okay.
what do you think? What do you think about that? They would have made it last year.
Syracuse would have absolutely not made the NCAA tournament last year. So I don't. I mean, they would have had to beat Louisville,
Yeah.
which would have been a tall order.
Well, beaten
Probably another game, if not win the ACC tournament outright. So I just don't see a path there unless you're saying they went to the ACC title game.
They would have probably at least had to go to the title game last year. I think that's what I remember talking about when we were entering that. And although the win over UNC was almost just like easy to them during that game, going to face Louisville would have been tough. But I'm going to stick to what I said before. They were going to win that tournament. You can't prove me wrong.
No, that's what you're going to say. But either way, I just wanted to bring it up because even though I'm not on the same page as him on that comment, I do appreciate the NSYNC stuff. You know, he had a little bit of.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Okay. At Baptized by Fire 75 by upperclassmen experience mixed with athletic youth, good combination. He thinks they're going to do it. That is, we're on Parler, by the way, too. At Cuse Militia, everywhere. So that was a parlor comment. Our only one. Oh, no, there was another one, but it was on the other one. So, all right, James, you go.
Man, what was the original
He
question?
doesn't even freaking remember. What a clown.
Something about making the tournament or something like that. What was it?
It was the Orange will be comfortably in the tournament this year.
Okay. That's right. I'm like the kid that falls asleep in class and forgets the question. Yeah, I'm gonna go sell. I don't think it's gonna be comfortable. I think when you look at now the league standings came out today, or the preseason poll anyway. And if Syracuse is 6, they have a good chance at that. But I think that's a little high. Certainly when you look at the ACC, the top 5, or who the top 5 have been for the past few years, UVA, Duke, North Carolina, Florida State, Louisville. Beyond that, you really get into the meat of the conference, and it's going to be competitive in the middle. So it all depends on how Syracuse does in those games. But I do think on the whole, Elijah Hughes played a very important role in a lot of different ways last year. I think that's going to be a tough gap to fill. And I think Syracuse is going to be on the bubble come Selection Sunday. Not to say they can't make it, but I think it's going to be close.
Joe.
Yeah, and that's what I brought up to Sean, because I kind of brought it up. Is this the year? I mean, you remember as a Syracuse fan growing up, NCAA tournament was like status quo every year, right?
Yeah, we didn't even think about not going in or being on the bubble. Right. It was just like, how far are we going to go?
And we've been on this, this bubble for the past 4 or 5 years. NIT taking ourselves, out of the NCAA tournament with all this stuff. And I mean, is this just I don't know. I don't remember a year, and recently anyway, and maybe I'm wrong, but with being as high up in KenPom and in the preseason ACC rankings and stuff like that. So there's, the pundits out there think we're going to be good, but is this a residual of us just used to this 4 or 5 year lull of being in the bubble zone, that the Syracuse fans don't have the confidence that we can't get back into the, we're going to make the NCAA tournament every year. So I don't know. It's tough for me, and I could easily hold like Gio, but I am going to buy, and I'm going to buy it just because I do think that those big men are going to be good. I like knowing that Quincy was actually injured and that he got that taken care of, and hoping Sidibe and Dolezaj continue what they were doing last year, on top of what Buddy and Joe are going to get better at, which I hope they concentrated more on the defensive end than the offensive end. But either way, that with adding Alan Griffin, I can see how they can kind of make up that Elijah Hughes difference.
I agree, and I hope this just isn't me just being beat up by football all year, where I'm just like, give me some freaking basketball. But not only do I think that they will break the top 25 this year, I think that they will be comfortably might be pushing it. I might have should have not used that word, but I'm gonna buy anyway on that, and just say it's not gonna be like, and I'm gonna put an asterisk on this, but it's not going to be like it's been, like Joe said, where you're just like, they got to win the ACC tournament. Like, I just don't see that happening. I think they get in. I think it's going to be projected in. I don't think there's going to be a ton of problems this year with it. So when you look at the schedule too, and you play at Duke, okay, we got to play. Do we play UVA twice?
Oh, once.
No. So we played Duke once.
Louisville and North Carolina twice, though.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Right. Exactly. So you don't play UVA is projected to be just animals this year. So isn't UVA projected to win the ACC this year?
They're number one in the preseason. They get Sam Hauser eligible from Marquette. Kihei Clark's back. Jay Huff's back. But with UVA, they're going to be elite defensively. And the offense last year was what everybody thought Virginia's offense has been, and that's poor. The offense was bad last year, actually, for Virginia.
Yeah.
But it should be improved this year with, the guys they have returning in Hauser. Everybody's saying he's a bucket getter. So.
Yeah. So when you look at the schedule, I mean, there's a lot of close games, but you only play Duke once, you only play UVA once. Obviously, that helps a little bit. You do have to play Duke and UVA both away in their territory, but I'm going to stick with what I said. I'm going to buy. I have high hopes for this team, and I'm not setting expectations, but I do have high hopes. I'm very excited about seeing this team play.
Well, and we also have to look at it as this is going to be, again, an unprecedented season. You're not going to have these mid-majors that get all these wins against big teams during a big non-conference schedule, or some of these Power 5 teams that are basically setting up a situation where they're stacking up all these non-conference wins, and then when they get to conference, they go 500, but they've already had so many wins that it's not a problem.
Right. Okay, let's do a couple fan ones. Anthony on Facebook, I'm sorry, he said 2021 edition of Orange Hoops will once again be on the bubble on Selection Sunday, so obviously I sell that. David Radzitz, buy, sell, or hold. We finished top 10 in rankings. I'll sell that all day. I don't think we're that good. I don't think we're that good at all. James, right? Obviously, you're Mr. Negative today.
Top 10 in the ACC or in the country?
In the country, I believe.
In the country,
That's the way I would go with that. Okay. Chris on Facebook, buy, sell, or hold. A better than expected Syracuse team beats Rutgers, goes into conference play ranked. We kind of hit on that one already. I don't know about that. I would hold on that, and I don't usually hold, but I don't know if beating Rutgers gets us in there. So I guess it could, but and there was one more. I think Cuse Waterboy had one on Twitter. Let me see. Bear with me here. Yeah, he said Dior recommits to Syracuse. Buy, sell, or hold. Sell again, and two more times. No way. No way.
It's over. Done.
Yeah, and he doesn't think so either.
That's when you break up with your girlfriend and she's like, "Well, we could stay friends." It's like,
and you're like, I'm good. Give me my stuff back.
Yeah. It's over.
Anything else, James? You have predictions? Do you want to make a prediction on? I should have told you guys. ACC predictions, record-wise, just conference record.
Man, I really. You didn't. If I had to, I'd say somewhere around 12-8, maybe 11-9. But I do think, we kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with the 3-point shooting. I do think this team has the potential to go in and beat anybody just with their shooting. But on the flip side of that, there's probably going to be a few games that Syracuse should win that they won't, because there's going to be nights where they can't put the ball in the bucket, just so heavily relying on the 3-point shot. But
yeah,
I think it's going to be an interesting season. We'll see what happens with COVID and with testing, and obviously students are going to be going home here as the season gets underway. So just hopefully everybody can be safe and we can have a good college basketball season. And to be honest with you, man, I'm just happy we're having a season, because if you asked me in June or July if we could have a season and not have fans, I would take just having a season. So I'm happy we got hoops this year.
Yeah, and everybody gets, we've come this far with football. At the university at Syracuse has been really good. So yes. I hope that continues. Be responsible. It's selfish of me to say that I want to see all of my basketball, all of it. I want it all. And I want it now.
Well, and it's going to be different too, though, because football's outside in most places. I mean, I know you're speaking Syracuse, but there's going to be some different challenges for some teams in some, states when it comes to actually having an indoor game as well. So,
yeah, I know. Well, any game that y'all are looking particularly ahead to, maybe a game that on the schedule where you're like, man, I can't wait to watch that. For me, I will say Notre Dame early. After the 2 games we played against Notre Dame last year, I'm really excited about that one. I really am. And obviously, the Virginia Techs, the Virginia.
They lost their guys, so those should be wins. Gibbs and Mooney are gone, so those should be wins. But Prentice Hubb's back, so we can look forward to him and Gerard going at each other again. Yes, which was classic. I mean, those 2 Notre Dame games last year, besides the UNC game, were the best games of the season. Yeah.
So
the one at the Dome was probably the most entertaining game of the year.
Yeah. So really good stuff, and we can't wait. November 27th, Bryant and James obviously will be back early if he's not too busy, which he never is. James is never too busy. Never too busy.
I've been sitting at the house for 6 months, man. I'm not too busy for nothing.
James, by the way, pumping it out over at Noons too. you had an excellent. Damn, I wanted to promote.
No, I mailed it in this summer, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I've been mailing it in.
You had an excellent.
Everybody's
Hold on. This is it. I do want to hit on this real quick because this is excellent. If you want to just get a comprehensive view of the 2021 Syracuse basketball, the 2021 Syracuse basketball season preview by James Szuba, written in October, is excellent. It is. It's very good. So, and I'm not just blowing smoke. It's good. Go there, check that out. James, we appreciate you, obviously, for coming on. I want to thank James. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank BetOnline. I want to thank Manscaped for Joe. No. Thank you, Joe, for Veterans Day. Thank you to all you veterans. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Back to the weed whacker. Gotta go weed whack my nostrils now.